Episode 82.
Wow, 82.
It's a new year.
Yeah,
Made it through the holidays.
we did. Yeah. Yeah, been cold, Paul. We were just talking about that. Coming into town there, it was 1 degree. So, and it's been cold. It was cold most of November
Yeah.
and all of December. It was cold.
Yeah.
We had a brief warm up there. It took away most of our snow. But other than that, it's been cold.
Yeah, the high was single digits today, 5 or 6.
Yeah, and
7.
yesterday also.
Yep.
Single digits, and tomorrow also. But then a warm up towards the end of the week.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So hopefully the deer herd's doing good.
They are, other than, like I say, they burn a little more fuel when it's cold outside.
Yeah, you worry when it's cold, when they're cold.
But as far as snow, yeah, this is the third year in a row that really we're into the new year with very little snow. Up at the camp, I think might have 8 inches total in the woods.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
All the snow could go now.
Yeah.
I don't need it.
Yeah, it's not gonna. There's going to be some more.
Oh yeah, winter's winter.
Winter is winter
gonna have
up
winter.
here. Yeah.
So
We know-
2026.
We know the drill. Yeah. Yeah, 2026.
Deer season starts now.
Well, always thinking about it. You know, it's funny how you. I was over to Mom's house today, and in her driveway, right in the middle of Presque Isle, of course, the first thing I see is deer tracks in her. And I go around the corner at our house, down on the cross street there, and deer tracks all up and down the road there. And of course, your property is probably the biggest deer trail in Aroostook County going across your yard.
They're all over the place.
Yeah.
Actually, funny story today. We're driving back to get some groceries with the kids. Coming down the road here, and I look up in the tree. I'm like, what are the two? I only saw 2, but I'm like, what are the 2 big lumps up in the tree? Huge.
Yeah.
2 eagles up in the tree. So I'm slowing down, and Lacey's taking some video of them. And one was bald, the other one was immature. They're just sitting there looking at us huge, stuck out like a sore thumb in the top of the tree.
Was that coming back from Presque Isle?
Just right down the road here.
Okay, yeah, I've seen.
You know what that little pond is? Going up the road?
Yeah.
They're in 2 trees right behind that
I
pond.
wonder if a deer got bumped there or something, Paul.
I don't know. Yeah, so you're wondering, okay, there's 2 eagles. And I just start to drive off, and I hear Lydia go, oh, there's a third one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there must have been
Must have been a deer. Yeah,
significant,
there's deer tracks all across there. So I assume maybe a deer got
We
bumped.
see them a lot right here anyway.
Yeah.
Going down to the river.
Yeah.
And back up. But
Yeah.
one thing real quick that I wanted to touch on is, did you hear about the big deer shot in Wisconsin?
I did
It's
not.
a guy from Madison, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
22-year-old shot. It was like a 19-point non-typical. And the funny thing about it was, other than it being a big buck, I think they're going to say it might be like the 5th biggest ever shot in the state. But he saw this deer bedded down, couldn't get a shot at it. And he'd seen this deer before. And I think a few years ago or whatever. And he lets out a grunt. Nothing. Lets out a wolf howl. Nothing. So what's he do? Hey, deer! Stretches its neck out and looks at him.
Yeah.
And he shot it, and it was huge. And it reminded me of
Zach. Yeah.
His first deer.
Yeah.
He was trying to grunt at the thing. He was trying to whistle.
Yeah.
And then he just hollered at it.
Yeah.
Went, hey! And the deer was running away from him.
Yeah.
Stops and looks at him. And
I have done the exact same thing, Paul. The deer that you were tracking through the block of woods up by the camp, and I had driven around to the other side, and I knew that, and I was in the truck watching, and I knew that when he stepped out into the road, if I saw him, I was going to have to act really quick and just jump out and holler, just, hey.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did, because it would only take him a couple seconds to get across the road there.
Yeah.
Little narrow.
Gonna have some sort of plan in place to.
Yeah. And then they always do it froze right in the middle of the road, just broadside, just like you want them to. And and they always give you I always call it, there's a a few moments of they're trying to determine what's going on.
They're processing stuff.
The processing, yeah.
Their processing powers.
Yeah.
Their GPU is a little bit
slow. Yeah.
Compared to us, but that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. But before we get too far into that, so anyway, this big buck in Wisconsin remind me of, you got Bo a bunch of books for Christmas. He loves them.
Yeah.
And actually, we're just finishing this one right now. Legend of Ghost Buck.
Well, I got to give Narda the credit for those. She was the gift chooser.
Yes.
And so she did a good job.
So, and I've seen this advertised.
Yeah.
It's by Lane Walker. And it's simple little books, but every night we sit down to read a couple chapters anyway. And he gets the minute, like, hey, you want to go read the Ghost Buck? And he runs up, brushes his teeth, gets his jammies on.
Oh, no kidding.
And now his bed has like this tent built around it.
Yeah.
He gets in his little tent.
Yeah.
And read one chapter. Chapters aren't very long.
Yeah.
And get through one chapter. He's like, oh, no, I want to read more.
Yeah.
And usually he falls asleep. And the first night I read it, it was actually brings me back when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
First night I read it, he fell asleep after I think the second or third chapter.
Yeah.
I read the first 16 chapters like he was sleeping there in my arms because I'm like, this is pretty interesting.
Find out what's going
I want to
on.
see what's going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a whole series of them.
Yeah.
You guys get him the whole. At
Yeah,
first
she got a bunch of books. Yeah.
At first he was kind of like, oh, books.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, he loves them.
Yeah. So it was funny how that package was underneath the Christmas tree wrapped up at our house, and he kept going to it. And
it was heavy.
He liked it because it was heavy.
Yeah. Felt substantial.
I don't think he expected it to be books, but yeah, you never know. I'm glad he likes it. So
yeah, and then we get a little bit of a different setup.
Yeah.
I had some free time to play with stuff. So
yeah.
Built a new table.
Oh, you built this, Paul?
Yeah. I had some maples hanging around and I needed a place to store some things. So
right. Yeah.
Built a new table. What else? Going to switch. We'll kind of go back and forth to the old way, but I wanted to play around with I got rid of all the stands in here. So the lights are now mounted on the ceiling. So
on the ceiling.
So this just slides back. Everything goes away and I kind of got my room back a little bit.
Yeah, because your room has definitely become a studio.
I had stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have to do something about this. So, and then a new action camera I'm going to play with. Get it going right now just to see how long it takes for it to overheat and
burn up.
See what the quality is of it. But yeah, I've got a bunch of GoPros, but I'm trying the Insta360.
So can you use this, Paul, like a GoPro? Like people put them on their hats and over their shoulder?
Matter of fact, the Insta360, it's the Insta360 Ace Pro. Comes with a little magnetic attachment.
Yeah.
So all my GoPro mounts and stuff
will
work
fit
with
that.
Because I've got tons of
waterproof.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like there's kind of three big ones: DJI, Insta360, and then obviously GoPro is kind of the pioneer in it.
Right.
And I got a GoPro 13, which is their latest one. I don't think they've come out with a new one since. And I don't know. I haven't been terribly
too impressed with it.
I mean, they're action cameras anyway, so I'm not all that.
Right.
I get a love-hate relationship with them.
Yeah.
You know,
they do some things really well, and
I mean, they're durable, easy to put in your pocket.
Yeah.
You know, beating pound in the woods and stuff. I don't want to bring I've got some cinema cameras.
Right.
And I don't want to bring a cinema camera's heavy and it's just not
in the rain.
Like I would never use a GoPro inside of here, but I mean, it's a matter of convenience.
Yeah.
So yeah, those sensors are supposed to be a little bit larger on those, and maybe I'll try it out. And so maybe I'll put some of this footage up, see what it looks like.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything else new from Christmas?
No, just shoveling snow.
Not a lot of snow though.
No, but we've got 3 places we've been taking care of, so we kind of, and we get just enough, Paul, where you got not a lot of snow, but if you get 3 or 4 inches, you got to go take care of it, and shoveling wood into the wood furnace. Yeah, like you say, it's been cold, so yeah. Yeah,
you're right. It's been just enough snow. I've got a pretty good sized tractor.
Yeah.
And it's almost like annoying because it's not quite enough.
Not enough for the snow blower.
Like it doesn't really want to go into the
Yeah.
blower all that good.
Yeah.
It's just not. But anyway,
Not enough.
I do it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes I'll.
Yeah. So we did,
Scoop it.
went up to the camp yesterday and we blew out our driveway and our neighbor's driveway. And so Narda did that. And I was out shoveling the roof, and there wasn't enough snow on the roof. But I said, I'm not going to sit around while so I shoveled the roof and the deck.
Girl.
And she was rubbing
Slave
it in.
driver.
She tells me she had to turn the heat down in the tractor, and I'm out there. She stops and talks to me, and I can't talk because my face is frozen. And she's laughing. She says, I had to shut the heat off in the tractor. So,
Bo bugs me. He's like, Dad, it's hot in here.
yeah,
Turn it down.
Yeah.
You got to keep the fan going to keep everything, all the windows
right, clear.
defrosted. The snow
Right.
blows on them and stuff.
Yeah.
They'll start to fog up. But yeah, I like it warm.
Yeah.
And Bo, of course, he's my sidekick in the tractor. So
Oh, yeah.
he's right there riding
Yeah.
along, beeping the horn every 5 minutes.
Will not be long before he's driving you'll be
No,
watching. You'll be able to sit inside
yeah.
with a cup of coffee and watch Bo
Yeah.
do the,
All those kids pick up on that stuff so quick anyway.
they do. Boy, they're
You
little sponges.
operate stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of scary.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're in the off season.
Yeah. Getting ready for
And
ice fishing for
Yeah.
anybody that likes to ice fish. So,
yeah,
I'm not all that. We do it once in a while, but I'm
Yeah.
not all that big into the ice fishing.
so I was sitting
scene,
there
so.
thinking, there's several different approaches to deer hunting. And I've always said I'm kind of the middle of the road, kind of not so like I have to shoot a deer because I enjoy everything that's involved with deer hunting. And I don't want it to be like such a science experiment. Kind of want to enjoy it.
Right.
Right. It doesn't have to be but it's kind of a continuum. You got, one end of the spectrum. Some guys don't even go to camp with a gun.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
They're just,
Yeah. That was some of Dad's buddies.
we know
there.
guys that they go to deer camp, but
They enjoyed the social aspect of deer camp and the cards and the
and then you go
having an adult beverage and laughing.
you go to the other end of it and guys are real serious about it.
Yeah.
So I was kind of thinking about, that serious side of things. For those guys, deer season starts right now
Yeah.
because you're everything you put into the season, it really goes. It's the off season that makes your deer
Yeah.
season. And, it's like for us, we don't do much scouting,
No.
and some guys, it's important to scout. Most of our scouting is done if we're out in the woods,
Bird hunting or deer hunting.
anything,
yeah.
recreating in the outdoors.
Yeah. We're looking for sign and stuff.
That's always kind of in your head, but it's not
Yeah.
you come across areas and you're like, oh, this might be a good place to check out in the fall
Yeah.
But I mean, most of our scouting is done come deer season.
Yeah.
Um,
You think about where you shot your deer this year, Paul. You'd never been there in your life.
no, and that happens
A lot.
a lot. And
Yeah, you'd never been
I
anywhere
tell-
near there.
Yeah.
honey.
And sometimes I feel a little bit guilty. Like I just gotta, and I actually gotta say, I don't check Facebook at all. The only reason stuff
I'm not
I
on
have-
Facebook, so
goes to Facebook is because it's connected to my Instagram account.
Yeah.
So I had a ton of messages on Facebook that were months and months old that I never,
reply to.
because I just don't.
Yeah.
I personally I guess I don't like Facebook because it's,
Yeah, obviously, I don't. I'm
Well,
not on it. Never
yeah.
have been. So
to me, it's such a poorly built, the platform is very chaotic. It's almost like a collage of stuff. I don't know. I just don't like it.
yeah,
And I guess that's just me. A lot of people love Facebook. So anyway, I happened to like, okay, I get a bunch of messages. Geez, I ought to check those. And so a lot of people asking questions prior to like deer season, people want to come to Maine and hunt and stuff. And so I apologize if I was late getting back to you. And I apologize to everyone that I returned messages to. But one thing guys will ask, they're kind of like, what's your approach to deer hunting Maine? I'm from, say New Hampshire, Vermont, and I want to come, I got a deer. I want to come to Maine and hunt. I'm like, and they're saying, like, you don't need to give us a spot, but I'm like, I don't have a spot.
Right.
Like, I really don't.
Yeah.
It could be, it's just kind of time spent. Snow's huge. But
Yeah.
just time spent getting out there and just kind of looking around and seeing what's there, not being so bent on hunting a particular spot and kind of enjoying the process to finding stuff.
Yeah.
And really, snow's a kicker.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, I could end up anywheres.
Yeah.
And I was using that like this year. I shot a deer, never hunted there before.
Yeah.
And that, I just don't, you never know where you're
and
gonna.
That was on a tip from Jason, a lodge owner. And, when, like I say earlier, when a lodge owner, he lives there in the woods, and he tells you might want to check an area out. You check it out.
Advice.
Yeah. He's a guide. I mean, and it paid off. He was right. We saw a deer in there, and so.
But so snow's a big kicker for us.
Well, we have so much area and so few deer that
there's pockets of deer.
Yeah.
And and like this one guy I was explaining to, I was like, so early in the year, might be going to spots that we've seen deer in the past.
Yep.
But that can be hit or miss.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since they've started feeding deer so much in the towns. It's like all the deer come this time of year have vacated the woods.
Exactly.
Traveled 60, 70 miles.
Yeah.
So, your deer season is, if you get cold weather and a lot of snow early on,
they can be gone.
Holy cow. It can,
it
really can mess things up. So year to year, it's always kind of a crapshoot. And just being observant but I feel a little bit, I don't want people to feel that I'm being aloof in it, but I'm just being honest. Like,
you're absolutely correct. You're not being aloof. We know the game because we've done it up here for forever. Yeah. So we know what we're up against and what we're going to do each fall.
Yeah.
And like you say, we are not tied to one area. We could be all over the map.
No.
So
I'm going to have fun. Like my whole mindset is, okay, I'm going to go out come deer season and have fun trying to find where some deer are. And if you spend a little bit of time, you'll find some deer.
Yep.
And can be successful. But I always, for me, going into, so this time of year, right, I'm always thinking about come the following deer season, what are I want to control the controllables.
Right.
I can't control the deer population. I can't control where they're going to be. So one of the first things I do, start thinking about gear.
Yeah.
What have I carried am I carrying I'm terrible at this.
Yeah.
Is I'm carrying a lot of stuff for like just in case,
right?
Or maybe I'll use it. I've got tons of stuff I've never.
So you think about, and we've talked about that. You think about things you've carried for maybe quite a few years, and have you ever used it or whatever? Has it ever been of any value to you? And a lot of times it's no. I don't use this, and I haven't used it, and so
I got to be better. I got to go through my stuff and get rid of, like, I got fire starter.
Yeah.
And stuff that, I would never, you don't need fire starter.
Back in the day, they really pushed that, and when the chance of getting lost was greater, whatever, not that you can't get lost now, but the woods have changed,
even still,
the geography, the roads, and
you can start a fire with what's out there. No problem if you need to, but
you definitely need to I carry a lighter in my pocket.
Yeah.
Got it in my pocket right now. I try to carry a lighter in my pocket all the time.
Yeah.
And, maybe one in my fanny, but nothing fancy. I carry some windproof matches there, wind and waterproof matches in my fanny pack. And I don't have to get too fancy.
No.
I have built fires, but I've never had to build a fire. So,
yeah. So, I'm thinking, what gear worked good for me?
Yeah.
What gear can I live without?
Yeah.
And I should preface this too with, it's great. At least our deer season, the way it's all lined up is we kind of talked about the transition last podcast about going from you're going deer hunting every day to we're in the holidays.
Yeah.
which is kind of a totally different, but it makes you kind of take a reset, take a break. You get preoccupied with Christmas, New Year's. And I think about seasons because, man, once the off season hits, if you had a rough year, maybe you miss some deer, you can chew on that a lot.
Yeah.
That can play through your head a lot. So it's good to kind of just take a break, have a reset, and somehow get rid of that mental chatter about what you did wrong, or it can eat you up.
Yeah. One of the things that I do, Paul, and I think about it oftentimes when I'm doing it, is staying in shape is 365.
Well, that's going to be my next talk.
Was it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because especially but anytime, I don't care if you're 25 or 65, I enjoy, and your mom does it with me. We work out just about every day, and we try to do weights and walking and stuff, and it's always in my mind, I need to do this because come next fall, if I don't, I'm not going to be much good.
No.
I mean, I want to do it for my health, my life, period. It pays dividends in every aspect of my life every day. But that's always a thought in my mind. You know what? If you don't do it, you are not going to be able to do what you want to do next November.
And that was the point of this podcast.
No kidding.
Is that deer season?
And I didn't know that.
No, that deer season starts now.
Yeah.
Because if you wait till October, or even November, then you've got panic. That sets in. I don't have this gear. I don't have this stuff ready. I haven't shot my rifle, or I don't know if my rifle's in condition to be shooting. And that stuff you can get ready relatively quick.
Yeah, your body
in a pinch.
Is,
but your body you can't.
No.
And if you wait till October or November, I'll do it next month. I'll do it next week. Even if you're a sitter, or whatever, doesn't matter what type of hunting you're doing. Like, those are things that you got to kind of plan for.
Yeah.
And I use, so this part is kind of focused on that guy that's really serious about, like, all right, I'm good. And there's guys that are like this. They're like, they take a very analytical approach to deer hunting.
Yeah.
And they want to be as successful as possible. And probably for a lot of those people, that success is going to be, I'm going to shoot a big deer. And that's why this time of year is when that whole process starts.
Absolutely.
Planning for it. And I always think of, I'll use a personal example for me. And it was school, really grad school for me. And I did good in grad school. And it wasn't by accident.
No, it was hard work.
Well, I had a goal.
Right.
And I had a plan. And it really was, so my goal wasn't, so, in school, you got to take exams and this, that, and the other thing. And if you think back to high school and those times, college, if you went to college, most kids, they're studying for an exam, pass an exam, right? So you'll end up, a lot of them wait till the last minute.
Yeah.
You watch them, they're 3 nights before.
They're cramming. Yeah.
Up all night.
Worried.
Panicking.
Worried.
That hurts your test taking abilities right there. And I'd been there before.
And I have.
Back when I was high school.
I think I lived there.
Undergrad. Yeah. I mean, I didn't plan well. But when I got into grad school, there was more life and death involved.
Right.
My mindset changed to,
failure was not an option.
I don't want to kill somebody.
Yeah.
So my goal was no longer like, I need to study for an exam because I need to pass the exam. My goal was, I need to prepare in such a way that I remember this, like, I know it forever. Yeah. And that whole plan, to make it a long story short, was just slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah.
And my planning for, say, X exam or whatever started the night I took an exam.
Yeah.
And it was just every day piecemealing stuff together.
Yeah.
Come the night before an exam, I didn't study.
Right.
I went to bed. I remember showing up, take the exam. You'd look around, kids sitting in the hallway. I mean, you ask them, did you even go to sleep last night?
Yeah.
Like, no offense, but you look like crap, man. Like, how you going to perform on an exam?
Yeah.
And so I did really well.
Yeah.
With no real stress involved.
Exactly.
And it helped me long term.
Yeah.
So
preparation.
Yeah. So as I think of deer hunters who want to be real serious about being successful, like now's time to start. And physical conditioning is a huge one.
It is, and you know, and if you don't feel good, even if you can go and maybe, like you say, sit in a vehicle or whatever, but if you don't feel good, you're not going to even want to go. There's too many people in my age bracket that they just don't do it anymore because it's too uncomfortable and I want to do it, and I don't necessarily, I want to be successful, but I want to be able to do it, you know?
Yeah.
And for as long as I can.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be complicated or extreme. You know, part of, you know, your plan for the following deer season can be as simple as just focusing on mobility and staying injury free.
Yeah.
It's funny because I was thinking about that. As you get a little older too, you start to have injuries in the back of your head a little more prominent.
Yeah.
And I think about like the month before deer season. Nothing's going to ruin your deer season more than getting hurt. And so I there's been times where I'll be out for a run or doing something. And I'm like, dude, you probably ought to take her just a little bit easy. Cause what if you tore an Achilles or something?
Yeah.
Like 2 weeks before the season?
You'd be out for the season.
Oh my God. That'd be the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
And that pops in my head more often.
Yeah, it did with me. I took a couple tumbles there this fall, and you know, and I was fortunate that they were easy falls. There was nothing that no injuries or anything like that. But I thought, you know, man, you could. I watched one podcast or one YouTube channel where a gentleman took a fall and he hurt himself pretty good, and he was out for a few days, and he was young and strong, and you know. Yeah, if he'd been 70 years old, he may have not hunted the rest of the season with his injury. So it can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I ruptured my eardrum one.
Yeah, I remember that
season.
well.
And I thought that was going to destroy my season.
Yeah, you were pretty upset when you did it.
Yeah, I was home. Didn't have a lot of time to hunt. I was home from school.
Yeah.
And
branch went right in your ear. I remember it well.
Yeah, and I'd always read and talk to other people who have ruptured an eardrum or say water skiing and wipe out and the pressure of the water going in their ear canal ruptures their eardrum. Instantly getting vertigo and throwing up.
Yeah. You had mentioned that when you did it.
And here I am in the middle of the woods by myself. And I don't know how I was walking through some hardwood whips and that snapped up and it went directly in my ear. And the minute it struck my eardrum, it was like there was a waterfall.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, oh my God, am I going to am I going to be able to make it out of the woods? Am I going to get super dizzy and start throwing up and stuff? I didn't. Everything was good, but I remember it was annoying all season. I was fine. I could hunt and be pretty well, it not preoccupy me or keep me focused on it.
Yeah.
But I remember that first night laying in bed. It sounded like there was constant water. And I would plug my nose and I could blow air
through your
right
ear.
out my ear.
Yeah, I've had a few injuries, Paul, over the years. Two of them, I've scratched the cornea of my eye. You were with me one time there, but there was another time, I don't know if you were even born, I was out in East Chapman and drove a stick in my eye, took a good chunk out of my eye, and that was very uncomfortable, painful. I don't want to say painful. It was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Didn't go to the doctor or anything, but it did heal up, but it was not a pleasant experience for
I remember the time you did it. It was pretty.
Yeah. The other time was That time in East Chapman was, like I say, a sharp branch went in my eye. The time you were with me, that was a spruce bough.
Yeah.
The needles of the spruce bough hit me in the eye and penetrated my cornea, and that was uncomfortable too. It was. Other than that, maybe a few strains and sprains that I could work through.
Yeah.
They were annoying. They hurt, but back sprain or whatever. I had one of those this year. I had a back sprain.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I think I was done hunting, but I was still going out trying to follow you once in a while there, and wasn't bad once I got warmed up. But when I was cold, first starting out walking was painful.
Things were tight. Yeah, I felt bad the day I shot that deer. I told you, I'm like, I didn't expect to make you go this far.
Oh no, that wasn't bad. That didn't bother me.
We were
at
going
all.
slow.
Yeah, that didn't. I could have done that. Yeah, that wasn't bad at all. That was super. That was no, like you say, it was slow.
Yeah,
I could do that. I could do that all day long. I probably couldn't run through the woods all day long, but a good, steady walk is no problem.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So now's the time to start thinking about physical and mental conditioning. So I'm going to back up to the gear audit a little bit, because it's also a good time to slowly start thinking about what worked for you and what didn't. I'm more about comfort and efficiency versus trendy. I wear the same clothes that I've always dear. I still have the same wool jacket.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people confuse trendy with good. And just because something's popular and everyone's buying it, or it's expensive because it's popular, doesn't mean that the product's good.
Right.
And that gets confused a lot. And I know I pick on the 7600 a lot.
Yeah.
That's kind of one of them that comes to mind. It's a good gun.
It is a good gun.
It's not $2,000 good.
No.
I'm just going to, at least for me.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's become trendy. It's become popular.
Yeah, it's a cult gun.
And that is what drives the price.
And we own one, both of them.
Yeah. I mean, I bid my goal. I said I wasn't going to spend over $1,000 though.
Yeah. And
that was
and that's, you and I both paid that.
Yep.
So
I'm not,
I have no regrets getting it. And
it's fun to shoot.
Yeah.
It's good to have.
Yeah.
And always wanted a Benoit gun.
Yeah.
And good to have a backup gun.
Yeah.
And they shoot good.
Yeah.
But for $2,000, you can find a lot of good guns for.
Yeah. Yeah.
That are still being
that
made.
would have been that would have been more than I'd been willing to pay and stuff. And
it's a gun that's been, I guess in the stock trading world, it's a gun that's overbought.
Yeah.
It's
overvalued.
The market price doesn't.
Yeah, it's overvalued. Yeah.
Doesn't really reflect its intrinsic value.
No.
By any means, but
no, they sold new. What? I think I saw a guy had bought one. And of course, this was the 70s. It was Kmart.
Yeah, I got people telling me, I bought mine
something
$150, $200,
$160. Yeah, I think this guy said he paid at Kmart.
I mean, we could calculate for inflation to see what that comes out to.
Well, even when they discontinued in the late 2000 teens, I'm not sure the exact date, but they were 600 and something at that time. You know, 679, something like that for brand new.
Yeah.
So to be selling them 6 or 7
used
years later for
used guns.
Yeah, for $2,000. Yeah, but hey, something's worth what somebody will pay.
That's right. And sometimes, hey, listen, if someone's like that's their gun.
Yeah,
like that's what they've always used, and they need another one or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you need it, sometimes you gotta.
Yeah, but that's not the only gun to kill a deer with. That's for sure. No, that's what you can kill it for a lot. It's like the 6.5 Creedmoor and stuff. People that
becomes trendy stuff.
Yeah,
trendy stuff.
Man, I'll shoot my 308.
A good book that talks about that is Malcolm Gladwell.
Yeah,
it was book Tipping Point.
Yeah,
and I'm always intrigued by like things that. Why do people bite onto this stuff? Like what all of a sudden makes something go from just a ordinary product or a shoe or a fad or whatever it is But there's a point that all of a sudden it becomes just like mass hysteria for it. And in the micro world, the 7600 is kind of done that.
Yeah, it has.
Some people own 40 or 50 of them.
Yeah. Yeah, there was one gentleman up in this area that had, I think, 40-something of them. And hey, good for him, if that's what he... Probably a good investment if he can sell them all for way more than...
back in the day, if you would have known, right?
Yeah, if he bought them on the cheap and he can...
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah.
One thing that good takeaway from the season was when I was out hunting with Keith, it's always good to have a new guy because you kind of forget some of the more things that you take for granted, the obvious
different
things
perspective
that you would show up to camp with. And you can tell someone, this is what you need to come. But it always doesn't really completely register. Like, you need a good wool jacket but they come with a wool jacket that's insulated.
Yeah.
It's like, well, and sometimes you just got to learn by mistakes.
Absolutely.
Like
when you go out there and your feet are soaked all day
and so without, hey, whatever, we'll go as hard as we can for as long as you want. It's your hunt.
Right.
We'll do whatever.
You call.
And when we were done that 3 days, Keith had a list of things on his own. He's like, okay, I need a different blaze orange coat to go over my wool jacket.
Right.
I need a different wool jacket, better wool socks, better thermal underwear. He had a whole list of things that, and just from being 2 or 3 days in the woods on what worked and what didn't.
Yeah. Well, this style of hunting, Paul, he's never really done it, and you and I have done it. You've done it for 30 years. You started when you were, 34 years.
Yeah.
You're 44 here coming up, and this is all we've ever done. And
so I pretty much show up to camp with the same stuff.
Right.
Maybe a little addition here or there, but nothing drastic.
But I can look back and I going up to camp with a pair of LL Bean boots because they were LL Bean boots and they were the main hunting shoe, and having somebody that spends a lot of time outdoors in a wet environment in snow, Derek Cody, saying, this is what I use. He
always wore lacrosse.
He always wore lacrosse. So I went to lacrosse.
Yeah.
And then you find out when social media, YouTube and everything, and you find out all of the deer trackers were using the same thing.
Yeah.
So, it's good to get information and listen to people like that spend time outdoors. So I give Derek credit, like I say, and he had a saying there or some, that somebody had said, I wouldn't give you a warm bucket of spit for a pair of LL for all. They're nice and trendy in the city and stuff, but not out in the woods.
See, there's a product that became
trendy,
super popular a few years back.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Lacey was like, I need a pair of LL Bean boots.
Yeah. Everybody had.
What the heck you want LL Bean boots for?
Yeah.
And they wore them a certain way.
Yeah.
Right? Untied.
Yeah.
Maybe
pull your wool.
Your skinny jeans tucked in them.
Yeah. Pull your wool socks up over your skinny jeans. They even changed the name of them to the Bean boot. It used to be the main hunting shoe, and that was
prices went through the roof.
They did.
If you could find them, there were people buying them like on eBay and stuff. Yeah. But there's still people that wear bean boots. I've had quite a few people comment.
Oh, that's good.
How much they love their nice oiled pair of bean boots.
And
So hey, that's great if it works for you.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Hey, to each his own. I can tell you that I wore them a lot of years, and I never regretted the switch over.
You talked about they put your feet right on fire.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was about.
There wasn't much for sole in those or whatever. And
you track a deer all day in those.
Yeah. I spent a lot of time. I have enough experience in them that I can to talk to it, I don't want to. Some people go out, Paul, and track deer, and they get sick of clothing. I'm not going to tell them that they can't do that. That's their deal. That
no, everyone has their why behind.
Yeah.
And a lot of that comes down to we've all got a lot of personal differences with things. Like one thing for me, Some people have issues. Some people have feet issues. Their feet hurt.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate. I mean, I could probably wear a pair of wooden shoes.
I joke about
and
that
I would
all
be
the
fine.
time.
It wouldn't
I
irritate
can
me.
wear anything.
Some people,
Yeah.
they have issues with their feet.
Yeah. I just bought a pair of hiking boots, and we were over, and that exact conversation came up just a couple days ago. And he said, well, you don't want to wear this brand. If you're wearing this brand, I said, I can wear any brand you got here, and it's my feet. I could walk 10 miles, and it's not going to bother my feet.
Yeah.
So.
But other people, that's a bigger issue. They need a particular.
Yeah.
I see it in the pharmacy. You're on your feet all day.
Yeah.
And I could wear anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be the worst dress shoe in the world for your feet, and it just wouldn't bother me.
Yeah.
But you'd have some of the girls, like, they just would spend a lot of time trying to find the right shoe that they can stand in all day.
But is it their feet, or is it just their mindset that they don't like being uncomfortable?
Could be that.
You may be one of those people, and I consider myself one. I deal with being uncomfortable really well.
Sometimes it's between the ears. You're right.
Yeah. You know, I can block that stuff out.
Yeah.
I think people today are too, I don't want to say squeamish or whatever, but I'll be stepping on some toes there, but they're really a princess in a pea.
Well, we're a society of comfort.
Yeah.
For sure now.
Yeah.
Your home is regulated all times of the year, air conditioned in the summertime.
It's like I said the other day, I went out for so long, and my face, and I had a hard time talking, but it didn't really bother me. I didn't notice until I tried to talk, and then I couldn't.
Everything's numb. Yeah.
And Narda said, you can't talk. I said, well, not very well, because the muscles in my cheeks are frozen.
Frozen.
So,
So the other thing, so the last point, those serious guys is, kind of getting in the groove right now, preparing for fall time, is reading. Man, if you can read, it doesn't even have to be related to the way you hunt. Yeah. You can glean so much information. Just read.
I love to read.
And you just get ideas. Sometimes it's totally unrelated. Yeah. And you get a little idea, or, geez, maybe I should try this, or you're just constantly kind of brainstorming. And it's like a big experiment if you want to be that analytical about it. Yeah. You can. Yeah. What were you going to say?
I just read a good book along that line, and it wasn't a hunting book, although they did hunt, and it was, I can't remember the name. I just finished it. It was given to me by a friend to read, but it touched on they were traversing Labrador, and it had never been done before, going up rivers in canoes, and they get up the wrong river.
That sounds rough.
Yeah, and it eventually, there was 3 of them, and it eventually cost one of them, Hubbard, his life. And you want to talk about reading this book about being uncomfortable. Yeah. He ended up freezing to death and dying of exposure and stuff. But it was.
I guess comfortable can be a relative term.
Yeah.
You look at Thoreau.
And they said he never complained right up until he always had a positive outlook and stuff. And the 2 guys that survived said this guy was amazing. He never complained about, and they were the guys that survived were in pretty tough shape. But one of them didn't make it. So,
and we've talked about Henry David Thoreau, Maine woods. He was up here. Yeah, you talk about those guys. Their feet were never dry.
No,
and their tent was a stinking wool blanket, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Cedar boughs at the Arbor Vitae.
Arbor Vitae.
They called it.
Yeah.
And you think about that in modern day, right? Like, you're thinking, I don't even like being in a nylon tent that's not nice and waterproof. And these guys were just
dealing with insects and stuff.
Mosquitoes and
they didn't have
stuff like that.
They didn't have the products that we do, to the Thermacell and the bug repellents and stuff like that. So
one piece of gear that had struck a chord with me that I need to carry with me. And actually, someone called me out on it on YouTube, and I agreed with them. I'm like, I've thought about it for years. I just haven't been good at following through with it. Is a good pair of binoculars.
Yeah.
I don't carry binoculars with me hunting at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know some guys say they will not leave
Yeah. I've seen some
camp without them.
I've seen some podcasts where people they've left and forgot their and they'll drive back and get them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was never, and I got a good set of binoculars, although they're not compact. They're fairly large, but they're good. But I'm the same way, Paul. I never carried.
No,
and I'm not saying I shouldn't.
No, I told I really should.
Yeah.
I'm always very cautious about having another piece of
equipment tied around you. Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of good deer hunters do it, and they don't have any issues with it.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of good deer hunters, like I say, swear by him. So,
and I guess for me, you never miss what you never had,
right?
So it's like, but and he was like, "Yeah, good quality pair." And I said, "Yeah, I'll tell Lacey, my birthday's coming up. I want a pair of Swarovski."
Yeah,
see what she says.
Yeah. Well, there lies. Do you go compact and try to get something that because a lot of the hunting, especially out west, they live by glass.
Kind of got to.
Yeah, out west they live by spotting scopes and binoculars, and they all got them on their chest and stuff. And so, I have thought about the exact same thing. Maybe I should. I at least should have them more available in the pickup.
Yeah, I got a Loopold in the pickup, but I have them in there all the time, but sometimes they're all packed away in the back seat and stuff, and they should be available. So we could have used them there one time a few years ago. Remember they were all tangled up in my. Oh my God!
I did have them there, but they weren't prepared to be used.
You had your phone charger, somehow tangled in between the strap. You were trying to get that up. You shot that buck though. Yeah,
but it would have been nice to be able to identify it a little quicker. We did identify it, and you did get the binoculars on it and stuff. But
So I actually got a funny story about binoculars. One of the guys I used to work with, he was big into ornithology. He was a big bird guy.
Yeah,
and those bird guys are serious about their binoculars.
Yeah, they are.
Like
they live by their binoculars.
He had a pair of Swarovski.
Yeah,
and they were all those bird guys are really connected because you'd get like a certain bird coming through that was rare, and it would be like, oh, someone just reported such and such a bird out here. I got to go. So he was on one of his routine bird missions, and he pulled over, and he got out, and I don't know if he was leaning across his vehicle or whatever with him, but he was like resting on if he had a car or whatever, but he was above the roof of it, and he was trying to get a good eye on this bird. Sat his binoculars down on top of the car.
Oh, and drove off.
Took off.
Yeah.
He got down the road a little ways, and it dawned on him. And they were like $1,500 binoculars.
Yeah, Swarovski. Yeah, you're talking four figures for any of them.
I think his wife got them for him
for
Christmas or his birthday. And panic set in.
Yeah.
Gets out, they're hanging from the window by the strap.
Oh, no.
What saved him was when he sat the binoculars on the roof of the car, the back window was open, and the strap went down inside the vehicle.
Wow.
When he went to take off, he put all the windows up. That window went up.
And
pinched the strap in the window. So the binoculars were fine, but he was sick to his stomach.
Yeah, he lucked out there.
Yeah,
for sure.
Sick to his stomach.
Yeah, Paul, that was one of the last pieces of good equipment that I've bought. I was late into that game.
What, binoculars?
Binoculars. And I did get a good pair.
What'd you get? It was Nikon.
I got a pair of Nikon Monarch 4 or something. Okay. And they're mid-range. They were $500 for.
I think you got them pretty cheap though.
I did. I got them.
You got a gift certificate. Yeah. Plus they were at the outlet store at LL Bean. Somebody had returned them, and I mean they were new. They were brand new, and I said if I could ever get a pair for a decent price, I think I ended up paying like $37 out of my own pocket. I had a $200 gift certificate, and I think I started a credit card or something with them. They gave me a certain percentage off, and they were
discounted anyway because they were at the outlet store. And yeah, but I use them a lot for other things. I around the camp, I always have them available there. There's places where moose come out around the lake that I always check every evening. And yeah, a good pair of binoculars is something every outdoorsman should have, really.
Yeah.
And like I say, I was late into that game. I didn't get a good pair until just a few years ago.
Yeah.
So I was probably late 50s or 60 years old before I got and they are a good pair. There's people that I've shown them to, they've looked through them and said they're nice. Good glass on them.
That's something I need to think about this year.
Yeah.
That and clean some stuff out that I'm lugging around and don't really need. Haven't been that great at it. But yeah, so that's kind of deer season 2026 starts now if you're really gung-ho on doing it right and being successful at it.
Yeah.
And if you're not, that's fine too.
Yeah. Some people it's just they get out when the time comes and they go out and have a good time, and that's good.
That's fine. Like I said, it's always been for me, it's more my therapy.
Yeah.
Kind of a break from reality.
Yeah.
Because man, life is hectic and crazy.
It is. It is for all of us. We all deal with a lot of stuff, and
So 2026, what are the goals going forward?
My goal is to be when deer season comes to be healthy and physically ready for it. That's the most important thing for me, Paul, is to be physically and mentally prepared for deer season.
Well, on your way out here, I was kind of chuckling at myself. You just came from a birthday party, huh?
I did.
I was kind of thinking, it's kind of funny how life goes full circle.
Yeah.
You kind of start out wearing a diaper.
Yeah, I talk about that all the time.
Then
it is a circle.
Then you're 5 or 6 going to birthday parties.
Yeah.
Then you're an adult.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you're back to going to birthday parties.
Yeah.
What's next?
And back in a diaper again and having somebody wipe.
Are we headed towards the diaper phase?
Well, I hope I never
kidding.
get to there. A lot of people do. I hope that's part of the physical training, Paul. Yeah. If you do get there, you want to delay it for as long as possible and stuff. And who knows? Some things we don't have any control over. You control the controllables.
Right. It was Lacey that got me thinking about that. Yeah. She's like, "Where's your dad?" And I was like, "He's going to come out after a birthday party." She's like, "Birthday party?" Yeah. I said, "Yeah, it kind of sounds funny when you say that out loud."
Yeah.
But
yeah. I was 67. I was one of the younger ones there.
Oh.
Really? There was 2 people younger. One was basically my age, a few months, and of course Narda's 65, so
yeah.
She was the only one really younger than I was at this birthday party. So,
any off-season projects?
Paul, one of the things I thought about doing, and I did a little research. I was going to build a new fly rod.
Oh my God!
So I said, well, I want to build the best fly rod I can build. If I'm going to build it,
that world has changed in the blank.
$670 something for a Sage.
Yeah.
R8? Is it an R8 core?
Yeah. Well, we were talking to Joe about that.
Yeah.
Channel Lake Camps, because he builds fly rods.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've built one.
So I'm doing the, quick math and going, my goodness, if the blank is $700, shipping and tax, you're up to $700. Yeah. This thing is going to cost me close to $1,000 by the time you buy the components and stuff. But I thought I'd really like to have a good top of the line Sage 9-foot 5-weight fly rod.
But to put it in perspective, I built a Sage XP in 1999, and it was $450 for the blank then.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
But when you throw in, I put in high quality components.
Well, if you're going to spend that much, you're going to use the best components.
I don't think then I spent, like I put some rare African hardwood reel seat with really good hardware, really good guides.
Yeah.
I think when it was all said and done, I don't think I had $600 into the rod.
Yeah.
And that was with.
Yeah. But the price of everything's gone up quite a bit since COVID. And Yeah, like I said, and so
And that was over 25 years ago.
yeah. So I priced the blanks, and like I say, it was almost $700 for the
Sage
top
also,
of the line.
Yeah, Sage also isn't the same company they used to be.
Oh, they aren't. So I might want to see. I used to be
Yeah.
I used to be in touch with that, the
Yeah.
fly rod industry and the fly fishing industry, and I have since been out of touch with it. So if there's a better option out there, I certainly would look at it. If there's I just knew that back when I was buying fly rods and I was into the game and stuff, I still fly fish, but I just haven't bought any products in a long time. How many fly rods does a guy need?
I just remember reading there was an investment company that bought them.
And that happens, yeah.
'Cause
Happened to Fenwick.
Yeah, because back when I was a big Sage fanatic, and I still am, I still think Joe had built a Sage and loved it.
Yeah.
But it was still, I remember when I built the rod, as far as guide spacing goes, can be very dependent on the specific blank that you have. And so guide size and guide spacing. And I couldn't find, at the time, this was late 90s, searching online, which internet was
right. Not what it is today.
In its relative infancy.
Yeah.
Couldn't find any accurate guide spacing charts and guide size.
Right.
Just kind of generic stuff out there as far as, for a 9'5" weight. So I called Sage, and it was like dealing almost with a mom and pop company. The first person that picked up the phone, it was a female, and she knew exactly
what you.
And she wasn't reading off a computer screen or anything like that.
Right.
She was like, "This is what and this is why." She had a reason why, because I remember the first couple guys were quite close, quite small, and was really impressed with them then. But I've been out of that world for quite a while.
Yeah, so have I.
Because G. Loomis was another good one.
Yes.
And
yes,
I think they're something totally different now. I forget the name off the top of my head, but yeah. But I still may go with the Sage. I gotta research it.
Yeah. That's the first one I looked at, Paul, and the only one I looked at, because like I say, the last I knew, when I really knew fly rods, that was the rod to have and stuff.
My Sage XP is hands down favorite rod. And I've cast newer Orvis rods, a whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
I still, that Sage XP is my, I can cast it a long ways and pretty effortless.
So are you thinking about building the fly?
Yeah,
because I get your components at the house. Go ahead
and use them.
Okay, but I got them if you need them. I look at them every day. When I'm down cellar they're on the shelf. So
I was.
But that's one of the things, and I thought about it enough. I said I got to start checking out some prices here. If I'm going to build one, I want to get started. And it was kind of a shock to me, the price of the blanks alone.
Yeah, everything's gone up.
But in comparison, if they were $400 back in the 90s, it hasn't gone up that much.
No.
So
no. Again, if you count for inflation.
Yeah. No, it hasn't gone up.
That was a lot of money back in for a 17-year-old kid.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I can remember pulling that out of the package going, this is a piece of graphite.
You don't get much for $400, do you?
No. Yeah. Don't snap this.
But how many times have you used that since then?
That's been my go-to rod.
Yeah.
For over 26 years.
So it was well worth it. I mean, it's a lifetime. As long as you don't slam it in a door or whatever, step on it. It's basically a lifetime.
Yeah, no, it's been an awesome
tool.
rod.
Yeah.
And it's still my primary rod I use.
Yeah.
I've got newer rods. I've got different rods, but that's still my favorite rod to this day. So
that was top of the line at the time.
Yep.
Top of the line in the industry.
Yep.
So, yeah.
I will say we were at a fly shop this past summer, and I would have bought it if they had one in stock. So I've never seen a Hardy reel in person.
Oh, yeah.
And we were at a fly shop down outside of York and going into a Gunkwit. And they had Hardy reels there.
Yeah.
And they had a 5-weight. That was the empty spot of they had like 4 Hardy reels.
Yeah.
was like, oh my word.
Yeah.
I'm like, at least I'm like, I'm pretty sure if they would have had it,
Yeah, that's an iconic reel.
I would have bought it.
House of Hardy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had larger ones and smaller ones, but they
Yeah.
did not have that.
And you know, I always wanted a Hardy too, Paul, just because,
yeah.
you know, a Hardy Perfect, or I think
Yeah.
they made the marquee and stuff. And just because.
Yeah.
Just because it was a Hardy.
Man, that would be awful nice to have.
Yeah. Yeah.
But thankfully it wasn't there because that just saved me. It's almost $1,000 for the thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was like $600 or $700.
Yeah.
$800. But Able makes some good reels too,
Yeah, they do.
and those are a pretty penny.
Yeah.
Pretty penny.
Yeah, Abel makes some good reels.
Well, good. I probably need to put some wood on the fire.
Yeah, same here.
Anything else to add, or
Not a thing. Just wish everybody a happy New Year.
it's gonna be a good year?
Yeah. Yeah.
Alrighty, do it again next week. We can get back into a rotation.
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
When's before we go, ice fishing derby?
I looked it up, Paul, towards the end of January. Can't remember the exact dates, but it's the end of January.
I'll be sure to avoid that day.
Avoid going fishing that day?
Yeah.
Oh, we want to go up and yeah.
I'm not a crowd person.
No.
That is
No.
it's busy.
It is. It is. Yeah. I won't go down that road.
You
It is-
like it?
Well, I think it's changed I think it's changed the fishing up in the Fish River chain of lakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Well,
Things-
we've got white perch now. That
Well,
may be
I'm not going to say that. I have said it before, and I believe that, but
could be. It's a good.
yeah, puts a lot of pressure on
it's a realistic theory.
on the resource there too.
Yeah.
You know. So, but it is what it is.
Yep.
I have no control over that.
No, control the controllables.
That's it.
So awesome.
Yeah.
But did you like the new setup, or
Yeah.
a little less comfortable?
It's
Make
yeah,
you
a
a little
little more,
stressful?
no, I don't feel too stressed. It's a little more not so laid back as the
Yeah.
other. I can sink into that chair there.
Yeah.
And,
We'll
kinda-
bounce back and forth.
yeah, no, this is
I
fine.
got to keep it interesting because I got to have
This is
stuff.
fine.
Gotta have stuff to play with, kind of stimulate.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
I got to do something.
Yeah.
I want to try something else.
We can do like the big boys, Paul. Maybe have a glass of whiskey and maybe smoke a doobie or something. Don't they?
smoke a doobie.
They do that on Joe Rogan's show there. or
Do
what?
they?
I don't know.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't watch
Yeah.
Joe.
Yeah. Yeah. I just see clips of it. I've never
they
watched an
probably-
entire show or anything. So
His are about 3 hours long.
yeah. Yeah. You'll have to strike that part out of this because I'm not,
You
I'm not
smoking-
about to go down that road at this stage.
No, I think coffee's good, and
Yeah. Coffee and tea.
I don't need to be choking up here. So, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess until next time, get outside.
It's good for the soul.
See ya.